Hello, my foxy people. So I'm going to turn this up. I am just starting my treadmill, and I thought I'd pop on. I am not going to the library today. I'm not out doing a walk because the weather is a little bit chilly this week. It dropped a little, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to get on the treadmill today and pop on and try to do a little video. So here I am doing a little video. Not sure if I'm going to do this as in the gym with Crim, although technically we are in the gym. I just wanted to pop on and talk about a couple things, I guess. I've had a few people ask questions as far as like when it comes to my workouts, what have I seen the most from, like weight loss or bodybuilding, like clarity, so on and so forth, just whatever. And gosh, sorry guys, I'm walking on a treadmill and I'm wobbling everywhere, huh? And really, the thing is I feel that bodybuilding is such a magical thing for our bodies. We can keep that strength, the muscle, and it will, if you build that strength, if you give yourself time, you know, by the time you're in your 60s, 70s, or even 80s, you could still be bodybuilding. Your body adapts. Like, if you take care of your body, it takes care of you. Cardio is kind of the same thing, but the thing is, I've heard both sides of the spectrum, where people are super into cardio, and then there's people that are super into muscle building, you know, powerlifting, bodybuilding, weightlifting, or yeah, whatever you are doing. Cardio is a very broad range of exercises. CrossFit is cardio, treadmills are cardio, walking, jogging, running, spin bikes, ellipticals, stairs, the Stairmasters, whatever they're called, you know, kettlebells. So kettlebells, some of the kettlebell exercises that I've done have been a little bit of cardio with that weightlifting. And that is like almost like a happy medium. And from my understanding, CrossFit's kind of that middle ground. But in the CrossFit that I've done, I feel like it's more cardio. You do get a little of that weightlifting, especially with like when you're doing kettlebells and stuff. You are going to build a little bit of muscle and tone. It really just depends on your body. Now, if you are looking to lose a lot of weight, and maybe you were as big as I was at one point, you know, maybe even bigger. I don't even know how big I don't know how big I actually was. My scale only went to 350 pounds, and I know that it maxed. So I don't know how big I ever actually was. But I know that it took me about 2 years to finally get down into the 200s. I remember when I hit 280, I was thrilled, and then finally got down to really close to 200, and now I've stayed below 200. I bounce between 190 and 200 now, but it's depending on my muscle, my water retention, my inflammation, like everything, because unfortunately, I have Hashimoto's. I also have vitiligo, so I have 2 autoimmune diseases, and I also have 3 bulging discs. So it really does affect me, and I get inflamed very, very easily. So there are days that I can't do certain things. And kettlebells are one of those things that I've had to pull back on because I noticed that it did aggravate the bulging discs. And I had been doing that for a while. I had been doing kind of CrossFit style workouts. And don't get me wrong, I saw benefits from it. Burning those calories, and I was dropping fat. But so in the years that I've done exercises, this was what I'd recommend. So if you're new-ish or not as familiar with workouts, bigger, and you're trying to lose weight, start small. I would recommend cardio. You got to strengthen that heart, and cardio is what strengthens that heart. I'm not saying bodybuilding doesn't help, but honestly, I don't know very many people out there that are weightlifters, powerlifters, bodybuilders that don't do a little cardio before they do their weightlifting, because they know that it's really healthy. Even if you just do a half hour on the treadmill, your pace, and then, or on a spin bike or an elliptical or whatever you want to do, you can even go outside and just walk for a half hour. And if you're not able to do those things, you could do leg lifts. You could do like arm circles. You could do all kinds of different things, and it does burn calories, and it gives you a little bit of cardio. You can even do cardio from bed. So, although I have to say weightlifting's a little easier in bed or in chairs. So, I know I've been down. There's been times where my back has torn me down for like a week, maybe even 2, and I still want to try to get those little exercises in. And my physical therapist taught me all these little things that I can do just in bed. Goblet squats are a universal friend. Yes, it is muscle building. But I'm telling you, if you have hip or knee issues, problems, you're trying to rebuild muscles and you're trying to help your body, that's a good one to start practicing with. And you can use like a chair or your bed to stop you. You can always look those up online to see how you're supposed to stand. But again, you do you. You got to make sure you take care of yourself. And keep in mind, I'm not a doctor. I'm not even a sports coach or anything like that. I am simply just in school for dietary and nutritional purposes. And but I have exercised my whole life. I've been around exercise my whole life. At a very young age, my grandfather, my dad's side, had taught my brother and I different things, and we were very young, and he got my younger brother into Tai Chi and myself into yoga. And with that said, yoga is, if you can implement yoga every day in your life for at least 10 to 15 minutes a day, that is going to help stiffness, and it's going to help any issues you may have, that get up and go, that lack of motivation. It's crazy how that helps. It even helps stress. So if you're just having like a week or a month or a year, which we've all been there, yoga is helpful. It calms the mind, the body, and the spirit. And I swear by yoga. Yoga is what got me into meditation. And I did a little meditation guidance for about 5 or 6 years in my 20s, early 20s. So I do know quite a bit about meditation. I'm not going to go as far as saying I'm like this expert by any means of either that or yoga, but I do know a lot about both. And I still to this day implement my sun salutation yoga often, because I know if I don't stretch and move my body, I'm going to get stiff and feel like crap. And there's nothing worse than that. So yeah, yoga. And then I'm going to say, once your body gets up and you're getting used to it, or you're noticing, oh my gosh, like I'm doing downward facing dog and I can actually put my feet flat. It's an amazing feeling. I'm doing downward facing dog and I actually look like a V. My back's not curving anymore because of how bad it hurts or how stiff I was. Or the first time that you get to hold your weight up with one leg and balance. That one's pretty fun. So a friend of mine and I did a thing called Yoga Booty Ballet. I don't know if any of you out there I'll know. If you know what I'm talking about, you need to comment below. But yeah, we used to, we loved our yoga booty. And we had the videos memorized of a couple, and one specifically, and we just got really into it. We did the series. We started doing like the go-go. We did the belly dancing. We've done so many of their things. And I'm telling you, those are really a phenomenal system. We did disc 1, which is your basic on side 1, and then side B had a little harder workout, and it was definitely harder. And even though I work out now and I do yoga and stuff like that, I went back to it like 8 or 9 months ago. I tried to do it, and it was hard. And for me, I think the part that was hard for me was the bar or ballet parts. I forgot how difficult some of them were, but I fell right back into it, you know, and it does take time to rebuild and get back into things. And if you fall off track, don't worry about it. You just hop back on. I've done it. And like, I just heard somebody today talking about diet and food and how we like to say, oh, this is bad, so we can't have this, and we have to have this all the time. So here's the thing. Here's the haps faps. You can eat a donut. You can have a cookie. Just make sure you're eating, like, whole foods. Like, in the morning, have, like, some oatmeal or a bowl of cream of rice, which is my personal favorite. Oatmeal is good, too. You can do all kinds of things with both, and you can get flavored nowadays. I would say try to stay away from the high amounts of sugar. But yeah, do it. And then add your berries. You can add chocolate to it if you want, you know, and then get out there. And like, I like to do a fasted morning. So my mornings are more like hop on the treadmill or go out for a really long walk. And then I come home, shower, whatever. I have protein right away. Sometimes a protein shake. And then I eat whatever for breakfast. And if I haven't had a protein shake, then I make myself oatmeal. And then I add some protein powder to my oatmeal just to make it all super. And it's delicious. And you guys, if you've been following me, you know that I have videos on there on how to make my oatmeals. Cream of rices aren't much different. I'm just between brands right now, and I do like cream of rice quite a bit. And then, like later on, if I have already gotten my 10,000 steps in, it depends on if I'm doing a weightlifting day. Some days I just do 15 minutes of yoga, and sometimes I try to get like 20 minutes, half hour of whatever kind of weightlifting I think I can try to accomplish that day in. Because right now I've been pulling back because I've been trying to heal. So then when that's done, I have lunch. My lunch usually is eggs. I love me some eggs. I do egg whites, and I do feel like a lot of people are terrified of egg whites. I can see why. They're a little intimidating. But I do like 90 to 100 grams, something like that, of egg whites. And then I use 1 to 2 whole eggs. And you don't have to be afraid of those whole eggs as long as you're exercising. Because they're good. They're good fat. They're healthy fat. So that cholesterol, you know, and if you exercise, guys, sorry to sidetrack. I know I scroll off a lot. But if you exercise and you continue to take care of yourself, I don't know if you guys know this, but you can reverse a lot of health problems like heart disease, heart problems, and heart congestion. I've had friends that have had type 1 and type 2 diabetes and have completely reversed it by just exercising for a few months. Just a few months they had started, and they had already been taking off all their stuff, and they're still under observation by some doctors because they want to make sure that they're safe. But they continue to work out. I have one friend specifically, she only goes walking. She goes walking 30 minutes, 4 times a day. And then she takes a day off, 4 days in a row, sorry. And then, no, 4 times a day. It's a lot. She goes walking, half hour, 4 times a week. And then she'll take a day off. And then I guess it's like a Saturday or a Sunday or something in between all of it. She will go out and she either tries to run or she tries something new. And she says she likes to challenge herself. But she was type 1 diabetic and has been free of that for almost 6 months now. And she does still talk to her doctor. And she still figures stuff out, you know, because you got to take care of your body and make sure you're safe. But she's been really good. She's lost like 50 pounds or something now. I mean, she's been going for about a year. Not quite. Like, that's impressive. And you guys can do it. You just gotta believe in yourself. And I know I believe in you. So the only person stopping you is you, right? It's not me. It's you. You are in control of your life. You know what your body needs. And if you're in your head and going, I know I need to lose the weight, but that butt needs to change. It needs to change. I need to exercise, so I am going to. I am going to do this, or I'm going to try this. Don't be afraid. It's so much fun. And once you start going, like I remember for the first year when I first started trying to lose weight, the struggles. And I would go days and be like, I don't need to do this. I'm fine. Then I'd sit there and buy myself another apple fritter. Or make myself some chocolate mousse. Or ice cream. Eat a whole Ben & Jerry's bite. Yeah. But I made those mistakes and I'd pull myself back out. And then I'd go really good for about a month or two. And then I'd eat another pint of ice cream. And maybe a piece of cake with it too. Because I like sweets. And I didn't think about what it was doing to my body. I knew that I shouldn't be doing it because I knew I'd probably gain weight and I wasn't exercising. And I felt like I was kind of pulling myself back. And I'd pop on again. And I think everyone does that, you know? Professional bodybuilders, you know, and powerlifters, strongman competition runners, like they all, you know, have their ups and downs. You know, I think pretty much everybody on this planet probably has some form of body dysmorphia. You know what I mean? Like some people it's because of their culture, the way they're brought up. And some people it's just being bullied or whatever. I can't speak for other people. For myself, as a very young child, that same grandfather that taught me yoga, he was vegan. So my grandfather, to a lot of people on the surface, was a phenomenal man. He was a churchgoer. He was vegan. He took care of his home and did a garden, a beautiful garden. He was very, very, very good at gardening. He had a green thumb. My brain wanted to say two things at once. And, but, as far back as I can remember, he always called me fat. Always. And looking back, I was never that big. Even when I was a kid, a little heavier, but I wasn't huge, you know? And I hadn't really known what it was like to be that overweight until I was in my 30s, and it just went too far. And it was because I was sad. I don't know if I was depressed. I was definitely sad, stressed out. I wasn't sure what to do. I had lost my job. I had always had independence, and I needed to figure out a way to get my feet back on the ground, and I wasn't sure how to do that, and I was in a very bad place. And I did a couple things that I wasn't proud of, but it was out of desperation. You know, it was, you know, when you don't have support from anybody, and you have to figure out how to do things your whole life on your own, and then all of a sudden that stability you had under your feet, that little bit that you did have, is pulled out from underneath you. It's terrifying. And I'm still to this day having issues with it, you know, like I really need to figure out a way to get back on track 100%. I've been going. The last 12 years has been an adventure for me. And when I look back, I am proud of what I've accomplished. Did it take a little longer than most people? 100%. But I did it on my own. I didn't have a coach or somebody sitting next to me going, you can do it. I didn't have that. I really didn't. And I mean, to this day, I mean, yeah, okay, my husband is pretty supportive. I mean, he has been the one that's purchased like the treadmill I'm on. You know, he got me that. Well, that was kind of a family thing, but, you know. And then he also got me the abductor because he knew that my hip and my back, that the abductor would be a really good, you know, investment for us. And so in that, he has definitely supported me. But, and I say this in a very nice way. the support that some people show you it really depends on the people, right? So I feel like unless someone else has kind of been where you have been, you know, that big state, that unhappy state, and then all the work you put in, like, unless they've been there, they really don't understand how hard that was and how proud they should be of you. And and really you can't expect people to do that, because you can't rely on other people. You've really got to rely on yourself. And that's why, and again, going back, I said, you have to get out of your own way. You got to tell yourself you can do it, and just get up and do it. Block all that negativity out. It sucks. I've had to cut a lot of people that I considered friends out of my life because they're toxic. If they're family, even if it's your own kids, if somebody is messed up to you and they're messing with that chi and you know something's not right, get out of it. Set your boundaries. You don't need that. People have their own stresses. They don't need to carry somebody else's crap. It's not our poo luggage, you know? Like, nah. And yeah, it's just take care of yourself, you know? Like, start with the little steps. Like I said, do some yoga, do a little cardio, get some walking in. Walking's the easiest, and it's not hard. And nowadays, you guys can get those little walking pads almost anywhere. Amazon's hecka cheap. They're like $50 if you find the deals for a freaking walking pad. $50 to $100. That's so cheap, guys. And if you don't have that kind of money, because I've again been there, so I know even $100, that can sometimes just not ever happen. You can go to like your community centers. Sometimes they're like really cheap. Depending on your age, you could even get a discount. Some gyms are pretty cheap, but I'd be cautious about where you go, because I've been to a couple gyms in the past, and Planet Fitness, and I definitely don't ever want them to be a sponsor. I don't see it ever happening. But I had gone to a Planet Fitness. This was like 10 or 11 years ago. And it was because my 24-hour fitness was going through some changes, and soon after that they closed. But I had only gone in there because they had a deal, like most gyms do, where you pay like $10 for this, or you get in for free the first 3 times and whatever. So I paid the $10, and it was supposed to be for 3 months. And I had gone in there. The first time was okay. The equipment was minimal, but I didn't think much of it. And then the second time I went in, there was these 2 girls at the front, and I was sitting on a spin bike. No, rower. And that's not what it was. I'm thinking of 24-hour fitness. So the 2 girls were sitting in the front desk up in the corner, and the doors were right there. And I was sitting on it was a spin bike. And the girls were just talking, yapping the whole time they were there. And they were talking like, oh yeah, Becky, da 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 da. Or, oh my gosh, this protein shake's so delicious, or whatever. It was, did you see that girl that came in yesterday? I think she was the size of my mom's house. Stuff like that. I was like, are you kidding me? And then I didn't go back in for like a week because I figured I could shake it up. Maybe they'd be gone. And I went in, and one of them was there, and I didn't know the other girl. Hadn't seen her before at that point, but I had only been in there 3 times. Anyways, and I went in, and this time I decided to try the treadmill because it was just right there. And I'm sitting on the treadmill, and I was going slow because I was sore. And this girl walks in, and I'm like facing kind of kitty corner, so I can see the girls at the thing as well as this girl walk in. And she looked like my friend Julie. So it took me a double take, because I was going to say, Julie! And then I was like, oh, that's not Julie. And that was what my brain did. Meanwhile, guess what the little brats at front did? Yeah, they started talking crap about her and how big she was, and hope that she doesn't break the machine. I legit heard them say that. What in the freak? Do people not go to the gym to lose the weight and to get better? Are we not supposed to be supportive? Their whole entire slogan is to not be judged. I remember it being on the wall. That's why I started going there, because I was pretty big. So it made me start thinking, I'm like this 280-pound girl. And I'm like, what are they saying about me? So I went up to the counter. I pulled out my little pass and I told them I wanted my money back. I took both their names down and I asked if I could get the name of the girl that was there the week before or whatever it was. She said she couldn't indulge that or give me that information or whatever. And so I called and I complained. And I said there was also another girl there that was just as rude. And I'm like, if you guys want to get clients. Anyways, they closed. That location closed. Like, probably that same year. And then it reopened and became like an Anytime Fitness or something. Probably the same owners. I wouldn't recommend going there. And like, I don't know, guys. I am obviously not the only person that's experienced stuff like that at Planet Fitness. So, not a place I'd ever go. Ever again. Thumbs down. Horrible. So, do I recommend going to a public gym? No, I wouldn't recommend going to a public gym, guys. Avoid them like the plague. People are judgmental. And unfortunately, when you go to a lot of these places, these facilities, these people have egos. And they can't seem to let them down. And some of these people never have been big. So they don't know how hard it is just for you to walk in that door. They don't get it. I get it. And it's pretty effed up. Because they don't have any right to judge you. It's pretty effed up. It speaks miles for their unhappiness, right? Because whenever somebody's really mean to you, imagine how sad they must be. Especially if you haven't done anything. Like, what the freak? You get taken aback. Oh, I am too familiar with that right now. Going through some stuff. And I don't like it. I don't like people that manipulate. I hate liars. And again, it doesn't matter if it's your family. Kicking the ass out. Like, you don't need to put up with that. No one does. They don't have right to your peace. If they're unhappy, they need to keep it to their damn selves. With that said, take care of yourselves. Know that I love you. If you guys want to see any specific videos, if you want, like, if you're familiar with anything I talked about in this video, if you want to share anything, please do it. I love hearing from you. And in the meantime, I want you guys to stay foxy, stay beautiful. You know I love you. Crimson out.